Hi everyone and welcome to Club 3 episode 6 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM20 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Helps you get up to date with the videos, and if you want to click a like on this particular video for me, that would make me very, very happy. It will help me get seen by loads of other people, so I appreciate you doing that for me. So lots has changed since you and I were together last. We currently sit in 18th place. We are finally a little bit clear of that relegation zone. You can see that we had two recent wins against Charlton and Cardiff that have really helped us, and part of the reason for that is that the transfer window has come and gone and we made a few changes. So let's go and have a look at what we did. So you can see that Cardoso, our central defender, is gone for nearly £6 million for West Brom. We got rid of a couple of youngsters as well that just weren't going to find a way into our first team setup. So that brought us in a little bit of money. You can see that we bought John Clark in, our early striker that you knew about, and then Jordan Story as well from last episode. We saw him come in. But look at the 5 loans that we've got. And these are the important guys that have since come into the club that have helped slightly turn our fortunes around a little bit. So the first one, Lee Kang-in from Valencia on loan, and look at how many positions he can play, but primarily he's going to be a right-sided player for us, but he plays all of these very well, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring him in. But primarily it is to play this right wing. McCowan wasn't doing it for me. He wasn't as performing as well as I wanted him to or needed him to. So Lee Kang-in comes in and joins us on loan to the rest of the season. Boubacar Sané comes in as a central defensive cover. When we lost Cardoso, this is the guy that I bought in directly to replace him, and he's got some really good attributes for a central defender. 30 years old, so a bit of experience, but I think he's going to be useful to us over the coming few months of the season. Jake Cotter. If you remember, we're losing Coyle, our right back, in early February. He's going off to Minnesota, I think. So we needed to find a replacement. That's a transfer that they'd arranged in the club before I even came. So this is the replacement till the end of the season. Jake Cotter, brought him in from Wolves, from the Premier League, on loan. And I think he's got a lot about him that's really positive. And I'm going to think about trying to make a sneaky bid for him in the summer, possibly, depending on how well it goes. But he comes in at right back. Ronan Berkeley is our 4th choice central defender, but I just wanted to bring in that 4th extra defender just to give us a few options if we desperately need it through injuries and suspensions and the like. Excuse me. So Berkeley, as a youngster, comes in. We've loaned him from Burnley just to give him a little bit of playtime here and there. Won't play an awful lot for us, but is available when we need him. And the final one is some creativity in midfield that I felt we were lacking. Another youngster, this time from Man City, Claudio Roberto. 15 passing, 16 vision, decent pace, decisions, determination, loads of really good attributes for what I want him to do in our central midfield. I felt we had some solidity in there, but not enough creativity in there, and that's how he comes into our side. So the new look setup is this asymmetric formation. Few people have come out of the side, few people have come in. Today we play Stoke City, and if we go and have a look, we can see that we're sitting in 18th place and Stoke are right the way up in 5th. So it's going to be a really tough game, but a game where we've got some positivity finally about us, and I hope that we can actually be competitive. So the team for today in our new custom wing formation in the asymmetric formation is Rekovic in goal, Cotter at right back, Boone at left back because we've got a couple of injuries. Lloyd Kelly and Story are both out through injuries. And so is Boone at left back with Camp and Sané in central defence. Benningham, Claudio Roberto and Crowley in central midfield with Kang-in on the right-hand side and Daniels on the left-hand side and Clark up top with a bench of Story, Johnson, McNair, Knight, McCowan, Brown and Walker. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So we've asked them positively to go and do this for the fans, and passionately I've suggested I've got faith in them. Can we keep this good run going? We've got a really tricky game here against Stoke, but 2 wins and a draw in the last 3 games suggests that our season is beginning to gather some momentum. And can we keep it going against a really tough opposition here? First chance for Cotter to cross the ball in, and Daniels picks up the loose ball in the box. Back to Roberto, second attempt, just narrowly wide of the goal. Roberto making his debut today. It was quite a late acquisition in the transfer window, so he's coming into the side for the first time just to add that creativity. I hope a little bit of flair, creativity in that middle of the pitch is what I'm looking for from him for the rest of this season. But a long shot from the on the rebound too. The goalkeeper manages to get something to it, having missed the initial shot and I think hit the woodwork. But that was a real shot at us to show us that if we're not on form and on our ball, then Stoke are going to take something from this game. They go long down this left-hand side. Musala, is that his name? I couldn't quite tell. Kang In, though, picks up the loose ball for us. Onto Crowley, down the right-hand side. Can we get a cross in? He goes into the middle of the park to Roberto. What a great debut goal that is. What an absolute stunner. 18 years old, on loan from Man City. Can I nick some of these players in the summer? Will they allow me to put cheeky bids in, or are they just not going to give me the time of day because we've got some real good young gems? And that is an absolute stonker of a goal for a debut player. Roberto making his first appearance for Derby County puts us 1-0 up. If we can get through to half-time at 1-0 up, this is going remarkably well. And we do. We get there, 1-0 up. First half performance was absolutely brilliant, passionately. I'm pleased with how things are going. Keep it up. We're going to maintain our positivity for the first section of the second half, just to keep on the front foot a little bit, and maybe we'll drop a little defensively later in the game, depending on how it goes. But I don't want to do that too much in the second half of the season. I want to remain positive and try and win games because we outplay opposition rather than because we sit tight. It's time for us to show our creativity and a little bit of flair moving forward, hopefully. But, you know, circumstances will change and we'll have to play each game as it comes. But so far, this one is going brilliantly well. 69 minutes. Let's see if we can make a couple of changes to personnel and just see if we can keep the momentum going. So, Jordan Boone struggling a little bit in today's game as our left back. What I'm going to do is actually bring Archie Brown in. He's more of an attacking player, but he does play that defensive left role a little bit. So we're going to bring him on in that position. Kang In. Not quite having the impact I want down that right-hand side. So McCowan comes back into the side. And Daniels got a lot of better players around him at the moment, but is struggling to impact this particular game. So he comes out. And what we're going to do is we're going to put Tyler Walker down that left-hand side. And he can cut in off of that left-hand side and plays that role occasionally for us. And see if he can get a goal, if at all possible. But up until this point, the second half has been very quiet, which kind of suits us, no end. 87 minutes, chance for us to cross in on the corner kick. Can we pick up the loose ball? Looks like Crowley's going to pick up the loose ball, does so, keeps hold of it very nicely. Can he move it on? And it's Cotter down the right-hand side. Don't play about with it at the back and lose possession. Great ball into Roberto. Again to Walker down the left-hand side. Gets a chance for a cross. Doesn't quite make it. On his right foot does so. Clark with a header. And Clark puts us 2-0 and out of sight for this game. Walker with a great bit of patient build-up down the left-hand side. Had one attempt that was blocked. Cut back in on his right foot. There's the first left-footed cross. Cuts back in on the right foot. First time cross. Dropping back into the penalty area. Gets enough power on the header from Clark to put it in the back of the net. And we take a 2-0 lead. And we've played really, really well again. Another step forward in the evolution of this particular setup at Derby County. I'm so happy with the way that they've played for the last couple of games. Finally, we're hitting some semblance of stride and some semblance of form just at a point where we needed to. And again, that's going to boost us up the table. And we're in 14th place. But look at that. We're now, what's that? Quick maths, about 11 points clear of the relegation zone. All of a sudden, it's looking much, much better for us. And we can begin to see what's happening around us. And we've got a few teams that we could still catch ahead of us in the next few games if we continue this form. So Roberto scores on his debut. What a brilliant debut goal it was. And he's another opportunity to put somebody into our side that makes us better. And we're on a 7-match unbeaten run. Loads of draws in there to start that run. But the last few, look at this, 3-0, 1-0, 2-0. All decent wins against decent opposition. And finally, we're beginning to move forward and finally feel like we can do something with this side. We limped over the line to the January transfer window, but the January transfer window has left us financially pretty well off, pretty good, but we've got some good players in. And can we keep hold of any of them in the summer? It's going to be hard, I suspect, but there might be a few cheeky little bids that I can put in for that later on in the campaign. But that'll do it for today. Really good performance, moving up the table, which is really positive. So let's see where we can end up this second half of the season. In terms of the next game that we're going to come back to in the Championship, we're going to go through, we're going to play, let's see what we can do here. Let's come back and play Portsmouth at the end of February. We're going to play Portsmouth and just see whether our run of form has kept us going through February. We've got some decent teams to play. Preston are mid-table, Rotherham are at the bottom of the table, Brentford, West Brom going to be difficult. So some challenging games, but some worthwhile opponents to get some points off of, I hope. So anyway, that'll do it for today. Such a better performance from my Derby side. So important that we get some momentum behind us now and keep it going. So let's see if we can. Join me for the next episode. I'll catch you up on what's happened and we'll move into the Portsmouth game. But if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that. If you haven't clicked a like on this video, I loved this video. This is a brilliant video. We got a really good win against hard opposition. So click that like button for me. But until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.